Chapter 2, The Sacred Registers, Part 2. SCL2:1 The writings of Garmai were brought by the hands of Nadaeoth the Enlightener, of the twin cities whence come the sons of fire, when he fled the wrath of kings. He spread out before the learned ones beauteous things of many colors and spoke to them after this fashion, and I, Lavos, recorded it in the tongue of the sons of fire. SCL2:2 Behold this, it is the land of the dawning. It stands between the land of light ever splendid, and of darkness ever gloomy. They are the lands beyond the veil, before the veil is the land of the living. SCL2:3 The aspiring one has embarked on the waters of illusion, his craft is afloat but it has not yet reached the shores where the promise of new life is fulfilled. Now, he is guided by two beings, one a lovely maiden and the other an ill-visaged man. These two strive one with the other, each grasping one side of the craft. Now, it overturns. The maiden seeks to drag the aspiring one down, while the ill-favored man seeks to keep him afloat. But the aspiring one struggles against him. They come to the sands of the shining shore where the light of truth turns the maiden into a vile-faced hag and the man into a handsome youth. The aspiring one lies on the sands of Shodu as one dead, for he had fought against the man who sought to save him. SCL2:4 The beauteous one comes attended by handmaidens, and with them are the companions of the aspiring one's earthly life. There, too, is his soul self, awaiting his embrace. The aspiring one lies as dead, for he did not know his Savior. They who stand about, who are the welcomers, wait in uncertainty. The beauteous one bends over the prostrate man and says, "Revive, this is not a place where death rules." He moves, and she says, "Raise yourself and cast awa." The handmaidens weep and their tears are the blood of the aspiring one's life. The beauteous one says, "I have come that you who were dead might live. That you who were blinded might see. That you who were deceived might know truth." The soul self says, "I have come to embrace you. I have come to protect you, I have come to shield you, I am your refuge." SCL2:6 That which is the Kohar says, "I have come to brighten up your face, I am you, as you are me. I have waited for you, I have wept for you and rejoiced when you rejoiced. I have never forgotten you while we have been apart. I have heard every word spoken, and these are recorded for you. I have recorded every sight. I have recorded every sound. I have recorded every smell and every taste. Every memory is secure for you. Here I give you form and substantiality." SCL2:7 This is the herald, he stands between this man and his Kohar. And they, together with the adjuster and the welcomers, go to the hall of judgment and stand before the Lord of life, the Master of destinies. Now come the lords of eternity, who are the lesser gods, and they enter the gates of splendor. The balancer comes from his secret place. The greeter to darkness stands at his door, and the greeter to splendor stands at his door, they face each other. The welcomers, compatible companions of this man's earthly life, stand about, they are there, in the hall of judgment. SCL2:8 The balancer causes two fluid-like, fluctuating columns, which stand on either side of the Kohar, and one takes the form of the aspiring one. But it is horribly malformed, because it mirrors all his wickednesses and weaknesses, the other shines brightly, for it mirrors all his goodness and spiritual qualities. Then the two columns merge back into the Kohar, and the adjuster adjusts with justice and mercy. Then the aspiring one stands forth in his Kohar and in his true likeness, which is a blending together of all his incarnational likenesses. SCL2:9 The aspiring one is drawn towards the right-hand door, he passes through and sets foot on the rainbow road. He is accompanied by the welcomers, the companions of his earthly life, who are now revealed to him in their true likeness. They sing, they dance, they rejoice, and there is much gladness in the reunion. The word of truth is established, it is fulfilled. The ancient promises are fulfilled. He who departs shall return, He who sleeps shall awaken, he who dies shall live. The aspiring one has passed into the regions of glory. SCL2:10 Now, behold the body vacated by the vehicle of life. It slumbers in its death wrappings, for the enlivening spirit has flown. The earthly body alone stays and cannot hold itself together. It prepares to fall apart and decay. The companions of the dead take it into their company, it will be made incorruptible and become a communicating door. It is given the things which rightly belong to the dead. SCL2:11 Those who remain on earth fear the life shadow of the one who has gone on before them. The body is bandaged in its death wrappings. It is purified, it is made clean, it is provided with the necessities. Thus, the life shadow shall dwell at peace within the empty body, it believes it to be its abode. It shall not wander. O shadow, do not wander, remain within the tomb, seize any who come to steal, seize any who would break the body, seize any who would open that which is closed. Seize and haunt, seize and haunt. SCL2:12 The companions of the dead speak thus, the life shadow of this man who was is never restless, it never wanders, it is ever protecting, it is ever watchful. It remains. For it is bound to the empty corpse by the restraining throngs. SCL2:13 They say. The company of those risen to glory. SCL2:17 It is the time for parting, the time for farewell, for the closing of the door. SCL2:18 O departed one risen to glory, who has left us to sorrow. As we have helped you and surrounded you with the protection of our love and our offerings, so now help us in the days of life left to us on earth. Chapter 3, The Sacred Registers, Part 3. SCL3:1 Behold, one comes wearing white sandals and clad in fine linen. Arise, stand up to greet him. He bears the staff of righteousness. He brings a pearl of priceless value, take it and become perfect. SCL3:2 Others come, fair women and young children. His father's heir has come, and the four great ones who bear sweet waters, who spread the feast and rejoice under the strong arm of their protector. He who has gone is not forgotten, but this is the day of the living. SCL3:3 He who has inherited ceases from weeping and begins to smile, the protecting one comes in peace. The heart in the sky is no longer small, it expands, it grows large. Thus it is also with the heart of he who lives, his days of lamentations are over, and his heart swells and grows large. SCL3:4 The good son never ceases from faithful service on behalf of the absent one who has escaped from the confinement of the body. The dutiful son now calls upon the absent one for protection from wandering shadows and from the molestations of life shadows. SCL3:5 O bountiful, ever considerate one, hear the words of your faithful and dutiful son, as they ascend with the blue, penetrating smoke of fragrant incense. Let no shadow wander from your safe abode to haunt our habitations, for they who dwell therein have done you no dishonor. Safeguard the dark doorway, that things in vile forms come not near us to pollute our bodies with sickness and disease. SCL3:6 You left, and before the waters rose again the man of Shodu, he who dealt harshly with the widow dwelling beside the channel of black stones, departed for his judgment. Is it not he whom you judged, and did you not deal rightly with him when the scales went down against him? Therefore, might he not return from the region of darkness with others of his kind and cause misfortune to fall upon us? You, he cannot harm, you are now in the place of glory, in the land beyond the western waters. Therefore, send us guardians from among the glorious company, that they may spread protecting wings over our habitations. SCL3:7 Many come bearing cakes of fine meal and barley cakes, large, fat-bodied fish and meats of many kinds, honey wine in jars and fruits in plenty. He who is absent from the feast is joyful, his arm is strong and he issues his commands to the guardians. Cast off all gloom and be joyful, for this is not the time of sorrow, and tears have no place in your eyes. SCL3:8 If there be benevolent life shadows beyond the protective pale, they may enter. Join with us in our rejoicing. Let us all enjoy what we have and what we share, for life is irrepressible. SCL 3:9 These are things from a foreign place, said for our brother Guelm, according to the rites of the sons of fire, and thus it shall be for those who enter the chambers of stone. Chapter 4, The Sacred Registers, Part 4. SCL 4:1 No longer can the man who was speak with men on earth, for he now lives in splendor among the eternal ones. He was weighed before the assessors, and though his faults were not few he was not outweighed in goodness. He has become a shining one and journeys on into the spaces of heaven land, accompanied only by his compatible companions. SCL 4:2 He has ascended into the place of glory, the place of fulfillment. The years have fallen off his shoulders, like a cast-off cloak, and he is young again. He is vigorous, he lives. Time cannot touch him with change, nor sorrow enter his heart. He rests, awaiting a new call to duty. SCL 4:3 He has passed through the wide hall and through the narrow portal. He has entered the land of a new dawning and he is welcomed, his earth companions greet him, he lives. He is beyond harm, he sees the sublime visions which fulfill his yearnings. He who has served is now served. As he has sown and husbanded, so now he reaps. SCL 4:4 He continues past the place of waiting souls and sees the awaiting Kohars who will unite with the ascending spirits of men. He bears in his hand the book of life and glides over the pure pastures, past the bright dividing flame. He turns the face of compassion towards the darkness, but sees not but fleeting shadows against the red glare. The lost ones shrink back in shame, and the man who was passes the entrance to their foul abode. SCL 4:5 Those who are left to mourn for the glorious one have dried their tears, for all is well with him. He delights in the good life in a place of glory. He is safe in the embrace of his Kohar, he is the adoring one whose eyes are open to splendor, he sees the sublime visions. SCL 4:6 The man who seeks the illuminator who will direct him in his duties, he cleanses himself in the lake of beauty and refreshes himself at the fountain of life. He sees spirits of the twilight who are purged of all their wickedness and lusts, yet they remain captive to the lords of destinies, for they are still unproven. The Lord of life will direct their passage back for trial and testing. For these, there is always hope. SCL 4:7 The man who has navigated the winding waters of life and crossed the dark waters of death, and he is now strengthened in wisdom. He takes a seat on high, that he may become an instructor and guide on the path. He becomes a brazier in the distance, a homing light to guide those who seek truth. He is purified and comes forth wearing the white mantle of greatness. SCL 4:8 Behold the splendor of his raiment and the purity of his adornments as he sits awaiting calls from those in the heavy kingdom, who seek his counsel. The seers in dark waters will amaze the people with the clarity of their visions and revelations, for the power goes forth from the man who was, with manifold strength. A great being has joined the splendid company in the land of dawn light. Over there, they will say, Earth is worthily fulfilling its purpose when it produces men such as this. SCL 4:9 You may wonder what are the occupations of the man who was. Does he illuminate the dark waters alone? May he not be among those who seek to enter the hearts of those who close the doors of their spirit to the instructors of wisdom? Alas! They who are heavily enshrouded in earthly wrappings are ever set of face before the instructors of wisdom. They say, What have we to do with this babble? Yet they, most of all, require enlightenment, for they are men of small minds. SCL 4:10 May he not have become a pathfinder in the night, a guide through the darkness, the star illuminating the night at its darkest hour as the herald of the great illuminator. May he not have become a director of rays that dance on the waters, or a controller of the winds, which caress the cheek. Suffice that he rejoices in a life of splendor, so let it remain with him and his Kohar until the day when all is known, the day of full knowing. Chapter 5, The Sacred Registers, Part 5. SCL5:1 These are the instructions for those who journey the outer track of the Twin Way, for those who have been laid in the chambered tombs, who followed the ways of Kemwilith. The words are those from the distant past, first spoken in a far land beyond the rolling billows. SCL5:2 The Risen One has become the newcomer, and having passed through the clearing house his departure is not delayed. No toll is required on the ferry, for the newcomer has with him the words of entrance, which have become known to him according to his deeds. He has not deviated from the path, and all is well. SCL5:3 The ferryman comes to the place of waiting, he of the winding river which is the tortuous channel of purification. The newcomer stands at the mooring place and proclaims, O ferryman, away to the region of the blessed ones. I am purified, purged of polluting evils, make haste, do not delay. I am a wanderer anxious to reach my destination. The ferryman says, From whence come you? The newcomer says, I am from Rista and am weary. Take me to my compatible place of abode, let us not delay. I wish to join those united with their souls' elves. Let us not dally. Do not tarry, for I am anxious to depart from this somber shore. Have no fear, cautious one, for no evil dogs my footsteps. Come, let us away, bear me over the waters to the appointed place. Carry me swiftly to where spirits are regenerated and made young again. Carry me to the foot of the great stairway that ascends to the place of the immortals. Courtyard of the great God. SCL5:4 The ferryman hesitates, he says, Show me your token, that I may know you have truly passed the tests, that I may know your true destination. For it is the way with men that they think one thing, but truth lies elsewhere. SCL5:5 The newcomer says, My token is the brightness, which, if you be no impostor, you may see shining above my head, and my introduction is the writing concerning me, written in the book of sacred mysteries. Come, bear me over the waters, so that I may tread the field of peace. See, have I not 4 attendants, 2 on either side? Let them speak for me. For they are witnesses walking in the light of truth. SCL5:6 The ferryman says, Who stands to the pole? And the risen one answers, I will stand to the pole with my attendants, 2 on either side. You stand by to bear at the steering oar, so that our course remains straight. The ferryman says, It is well. For the current is sullen and changeful. SCL5:7 The newcomer says, O ferryman of the boatless ones, I am truly a man justified before all on both sides of the horizon, before heaven and earth. I have passed the tests of the examiners and am free to proceed. I am one who can claim passage by virtue of my deeds. Have not men spoken well of me after I departed from their midst? Is this not enough? It is the way with earth, that if men speak of the goodness of an absent one, then he is good indeed. Truly I am a bright one. SCL5:8 The ferryman says, Draw aside your mantle, that I may see your likeness, for this is a good boat which may not be polluted. The path henceforth is hard for those who cannot be faced without revulsion. O great one! Draw your mantle over again. For you are indeed among the brightest of those who pass this way, great will be the rejoicing when you appear among your own kind, the pure of heart. SCL5:9 Delay no longer, ferryman. Quickly over the waters to the other side. If you delay further, I will name the names of gods to men, that their unreality be exposed. I am not one to be trifled with, I am one who can dispel the clouds of illusion. I am a man of no mean qualities, therefore, tarry no more, let us depart. Chapter 6, The Sacred Registers, Part 6. SCL6:1 The man who becomes the pilgrim. He has crossed the waters, he has passed the grim guardian, he waits without the place of union and stands firmly. He is not afraid and stands resolute. The cool gracious one approaches with 3 jars of water and refreshes him. SCL6:2 The pilgrim says, Behold, O watcher at the gate, I have laid up treasure enough in the storehouse of love, therefore, allow me to pass. The love of those who have gone before, see, is it not a large quantity and sufficient to draw me upward? See the love of those who remain behind, is it not a large quantity and sufficient to draw me upward? The watcher hears his words. SCL 6:3 The grim guardian counts and weighs and says, Pass. Then this man passes and goes beyond the lake of wisdom. Past the winding channel of experiences, over the flooded field of reeds, to the eastern side of the region of light, where he will be renewed in birth into the higher spheres. SCL 6:4 The pilgrim now stands before the womb of heaven, where those who enter as pure seed are brought forth into union with God. This man passes by to where the attendants help him to assume the robe of glory. They welcome him. SCL 6:5 Behold, they say, his Kohar has brought this man powers to make him complete. The powers he gave into the keeping of his Kohar during the prayer times on earth have returned greatly magnified. This man has joined the joyful company, he has left his old, discarded body in the region of heaviness, to assume another more glorified one in the region of light. SCL 6:6 The Kohar greets the pilgrim and says, I welcome you, my own. The Kohar says to those about, This is my own, he has washed in the lake of wisdom and passed by the caverns of distrust and doubt. Let us, therefore, enter in peace when the great door is opened for the united being in the east. The door leading to the place of the one true God above all gods, whose manifestations are secret mysteries. SCL 6:7 Before going further, they pass by a side entrance to the region of darkness, where vile and sorrowful things lurk, the lost ones, those who served in the ranks of evil on earth. O great Kohar, stop the ears of your own, that he may not hear the mournful wailings of the doomed ones left behind. SCL 6:8 They who are the companions of the pilgrim cry out, O Kohar, guide your own right, guide him up the ladder of life which he must traverse again, strengthen its rungs, support him, so he bears lightly upon them, let not the rungs break beneath his weight. This is the test of deeds long since done, where evil bears down heavily. SCL 6:9 O Kohar, your own is weak and falters, yet your arms are strong, therefore lift them to support him, that he may surmount to the heights above. Do this, that he may sit with those who have understanding and perception, that his feet may be welcomed in the fields of peace and that he may take his place among the glorious ones. SCL 6:10 Blessed is the Kohar who safeguards all memories, storing them as men store corn, who retains these for the use of the reborn ones, who can recall all that men forget and can draw forth a memory as men draw water from a well. The Kohar is the eternal recorder, pilgrims become risen ones and enter their Kohars as a soul enters a body, and in unity, they become glorious ones. Chapter 7, The Sacred Registers, Part 7. SCL 7:1 This is the manner whereby the aspiring ones of earth may cross the dread horizon through residence within the cavern of stone. It is thus that men come to know the truth concerning the realms of glory beyond the western horizon, but it is a path beset by great dangers and manifold terrors, and many return witless. SCL 7:2 The aspiring one is of earth, he is earthbound. He sits within the cavern before the cauldron of rebirth and regeneration, and inhales the smoke from the brew of release. He rises above himself, flying on wings of 5 feathers, the names of which are recorded in the book of secret mysteries, wherein are the awful recipes. There it is written that he may ascend like a falcon and cannot go otherwise than as a falcon. He may not go in the manner of any other bird. SCL 7:3 He escapes the call of earth, its fetters fall from him. The aspiring one leaves his attendants behind, he is not with them, he is not of earth, neither is he of heaven. He is at the place where the two meet and intermingle. SCL 7:4 His body moves without the spirit and partakes of the sour yellow bread of wide vision. The aspiring one drinks the brew of grey barley and sips long at the wine of Harish, eating the cakes of green-brown Horus. He eats the fruit of the releasing tree and drinks the brew of black fungus, which is in the smoke goblet. Thus, he sleeps and the attendants lay him down in the receptacle called the womb of rebirth. He is in the place of visions but remains like the masthead bird. SCL 7:5 He shall be covered and made so that in his struggles he rise not. His voice is heard speaking in a strange tongue, as he calls on his fathers who have gone before and now preside over affairs beyond the wide lake. His body becomes still, as he enters the dazzling chamber which is the doorway to twin vision. SCL 7:6 Now, he must penetrate the walls of dry air, which bar his passage, and rise into the rainbow-colored clouds of radiance, which are above. High up, he looks below him and sees the waters of the winding canal of experience and understands the meaning of all that had befallen him. Now, he has 4 eyes, these being the inner and outer eyes, and rising higher, he attains the heights of wide consciousness. SCL 7:7 Here, he meets the Pathfinder and follows him swiftly. He speaks rightly to the guardian. He shields his eyes when passing the lurker on the threshold, and goes on until he comes to the abode of the opener of the ways. SCL 7:8 Now, the body of the aspiring one becomes restless, and those who attend him place the power of Hori over his face. He hears the voice of the Sun God, which says, I know the necessary names, I am the knower of names. I know the name of the limitless one, above the lords of the east and west, I am one most powerful. SCL 7:9 The aspiring one becomes covered with moisture, he writhes, he shouts, he struggles. The companionable watchers know he has left the protection of the Sun God, that he has been seized by the fiends of darkness, but he struggles and prevails over them, and all is well. Then the aspiring one returns. SCL 7:10 100 shining suns whirl above, a whisper rolls around like thunder, lights of manifold hues sway above, like the river reeds in the wind. All things appear to dance in a shimmering haze, then turn over and fold back into themselves, and such beauty is produced that the human tongue cannot describe it. All things take upon themselves shimmering forms, through which other forms can be seen. Great melodic music throbs all around, while everything pulsates a soft rhythm. The air is filled with voices of unearthly sweetness, glory and splendor are everywhere. Then, the aspiring one awakes. SCL 7:11 He is raised, behold, he comes forth and walks as one bemused by a vision of glory. He staggers, he cannot walk unsupported. His throat burns, and his mouth is overgrown with dryness, his head resounds with drum beats. He is given the sweet waters in the cup of forgetfulness and drinks deeply, all is well. He is a reborn one, he is an enlightened one. He is one resurrected from the cavern of stone. Chapter 8, The Sacred Registers, Part 8. SCL 8:1 These are the supplications of Ilkeb the stranger, who came from the land of rising waters and was known to us as the opener of the ways. He came under the wings of the firehawk. He was the first of the scarlet-robed ones, the right hand of Glanvanes. That was in the time of our fathers, and the tongue of the seafarers is no longer in the mouth of men. SCL 8:2 O great being of beauty, brilliant one who greets the newcomers arriving in the place beyond the western horizon, this woman is your daughter is she. See, she is pure in spirit and clean in heart. She is modest and Woomahearth a place of peace and content. Let her roam the pastures of the blessed ones and penetrate into the farthest regions of light. SCL 8:4 I raise my hands in supplication. The flame is lit, it burns brightly, fragrant incense is placed in the bowl and it becomes aglow. Its sweet perfume rises into the recesses above. O happy risen one, O beautiful being glowing with womanly goodness, treasurer of all the virtues, purify yourself for admittance into the higher regions. The incense we offer here is your indrawn breath of renewed life. It fills your lungs, you breathe, and because you breathe you live. This is the best incense from the land of Gwamai, differing not from that, which our fathers knew when they traveled the water road. O beautified one, my heart lingers at the place where you rest, my heart is with you, entwined with yours. How sweet your breath, how pleasant your perfume, how gentle your whispers, how delicate the rustle of your attire. O newly become beauteous one, you are not alone. SCL 8:5 Rise blue perfumed smoke, rise cleaning fragrance, rise sweet wholesome offerings, rise like fluttering birds on wings of purified air to the glorious regions of light which lie away beyond you. Our poor perception. Accept our sweet fragrance, O beautified one, inhale our sweet smoke, O ever delicate one, may you enjoy the due reward of your labors and privations, of your selfless sacrifices. Be ever contented and peaceful. O dutiful wife and loving mother, hear our words, as they rise to you in the softly smoldering incense, which comes shipborne to these shores. SCL 8:6 Hear the voices of the waiting welcomers greeting the beauteous one who now joins them. They say, cast off the old, worn garment, and array yourself in garments of radiant light, in the clothes of splendor which have awaited you. Bedeck yourself in the well-earned jewels of spiritual reward. SCL 8:7 Henceforth, you shall dwell here, walking about freely, to be honored and loved. Here, you will be renewed, be alert, vigorous and far-reaching. The power of your spirit shall stretch out to every place. You take thought and fly on hawk's wings. Your desire becomes a chariot with wings of light. SCL 8:8 Beyond the place of your first destination is the kingdom of the Lord of the distant sky. There, he will permit manifestations in glory. There, henceforth, you shall walk in strength and beauty, being ever filled with life and power, garmented in loveliness for all eternity. SCL 8:9 There, floodwaters of a glorious fluid light unknown here rise and fall in moderation, and therein you may bathe daily and taste the revitalizing rests. Here, your thirst may be slaked at the well of divine essence and your appetite appeased by the strange bread of everlasting life. SCL 8:10 This is your destiny. In the land beyond the veil, therefore lift up your face in joy. Rise, lovely liveliness, you are one destined to be numbered among the shining ones and are warmly welcomed into the company of the fragrant ones. O happy one who enhanced earthly life with your presence, this is your reward. Many have done mighty things, but you have served with constancy and diligence, adding the small grains of goodness to the pile of merits until it exceeded in weight the great things done by others. We hail you, O victorious one. SCL 8:11 The welcomers say among themselves, how fair and bright the face of this newcomer. How fine must have been her life in the region of heaviness. Behold, here she is, renewed and made young again but with a loveliness unknown in the life left behind. SCL 8:12 When she goes forward from here, she is within her kohar, they are one. Her vision is through the kohar, her smell is through the kohar. All she senses is through the kohar. All she does and knows is through the kohar. SCL 8:13 Behold, she is among the chosen. Henceforth, she becomes an opener of the way for those of her blood. Glorious is she and blessed are they. SCL 8:14 Those are the supplications made for Mulvan, daughter of Malin, son of Market the stranger, according to the rites of the sons of fire. Ardwith kept it, and it was done into this form at the place called Korinamba. Chapter 9, The Sacred Registers, Part 9. SCL 9:1 This concerns the mystery of the twice born. It relates to those born again. To those who have endured the awfulness of the false death, which many do not survive, who have drunk deeply from Koraladwen, the smooth, bitter brew, which releases the spirit, who have entered Agafnam through the thundering doors. This is their path. SCL 9:2 The door of heaven stands ajar, the doors of vision have been opened, and now the cavern of vision is revealed. The spirit-bearing waves from the abyss have been freed, the rays of the great light have been set free, and the guides and watchers have been placed in their positions by the Constant One. SCL 9:3 The welcomers stand back, for this is not their stage. The Brilliant One is there, and another who is the reciter, and he explains the visions. O brave, stout-hearted one, Seol Tash to be, the things you behold are the things seen by the great ones of earth when they came this way in their hour and were returned back to life. They were truly men of wisdom, well versed in the mystic procedures, men who knew their position and parts. SCL 9:4 Behold the twin stars. These embody the midwifery powers drawing the twice-born back to their places of origin. They who are with them are the champions of light and darkness. 1. You must choose as your companion, but the choice must be made according to the law of affinity, otherwise, you are lost. SCL 9:5 The pool wherein you gaze is earth life. The brilliant light above, far greater than the sun, is the manifestation of the one God, but it is not He. The rays dancing about are the gods, distorted reflections of what is, distorted reflections of truth, shadows of reality. The sparkling motes are souls, they descend from the light to manifest in darkness. SCL 9:6 The clouds obscuring the lesser lights are the clouds of misconception, which darken the face of wisdom. SCL 9:7 The dark twins standing by the pillar are delusion and illusion, the constant beguilers of men. The stream of clear water is truth. And the waters of truth constantly shear away the clay pedestal of falsehood. SCL 9:8 The brightness you see before you and to the right is the naked spirit displaying itself in isolation. It is neither in a mortal body nor within the kohar. Beyond it is a much greater brightness reflected from afar. Which is the kohar of kohars? Which men cannot yet understand. SCL 9:9 The repulsive shapes, which are behind the flame on your left, are doomed spirits, which once were the enlivening forces within men. Now, they grovel in slime and filth, denizens of the mire, but their fate is just, for they themselves were the judges. The darkness beyond the murk will not become greater. Darkness cannot change to light. For when light comes into darkness, there is no darkness, it ceases to exist. SCL 9:10 The gloominess and shadow scene you see, forward on your left-hand side, is the region of heaviness, where mortals sojourn. The flickering lights which appear here and there are the joys of earth, while the darker spots are where there are sorrows and suffering. The redness is anger and strife. The blue-whiteness is love and compassion. SCL 9:11 The brightness above and ahead is the region of lightness. Where the risen ones rejoice, for there they welcome their earth companions and are happy in reunion. Behold, here is a rising one newly arrived, see, she flies upward on the wide wings of spirit, and loving arms reach out to welcome her. The star-girt roadway you see rising before you is that trodden by the countless risen ones, who have gone before. Now, advance towards the left. SCL 9:12 The abyss now before you is the mouth of earth, and see, it opens and speaks to you, bidding you farewell. Listen carefully, for it will retell your deeds, your accomplishments and your omissions. If they weigh against you, then cast yourself into the abyss. For you are unworthy to survive this trial, go no further. Nor can you turn back, lest you become prey to the foul lurker in darkness. SCL 9:13 If you have not been found wanting in the weighing, then step forward boldly and without fear, for the mouth will close to let you pass. If you are not numbered among the triumphant ones, then better by far that you be swallowed forthwith than that you survive to meet the dread lurker, the devouring horror, and be returned to earth a witless, empty shell. SCL 9:14 Beyond the abyss lies a stretch of blue water, which contains the pool of wisdom and the pool of purification. Therein, you must bathe and refresh yourself. The trees growing to your right bear the fruits of spiritual nourishment, eat, and become strong. No. As doing so,